Welcome to paraglidingtalk.com. I'm your host, Robert Michiels. Glad you're here. We have a guest tonight from the very first video that we've ever done on paraglidingtalk.com. Max Martini is with us. This is going to be an amazing show. If you haven't watched some of his videos, you need to make sure that you find him on the interwebs. He has a great channel for paragliding. I learned all kinds of stuff from him in the very beginning days. He's an Acro pilot, and we're going to have a great time. You won't want to miss a single second of this video. We've got all kinds of moderators tonight. Craig Taylor's with us. Cue the round of applause. Anthony Peregringo, he is alive and with us. Last week, he landed out while on the live stream. He was streaming while he was paramotoring in Chula Vista. Mowing the lawn. Got a little too low. Ended up landing. Also, Nick's with us. Nick is KC8. Is it 0 or O?
ORW.
KC8ORW. If you want to find him on ham radio, you can do that too. And then Sean Nafsker. He is with us in a bunker in another room right around the corner. If you're in the chat right now, make sure that you say something in the chat because your name will be written down and we're going to give something away right around the halfway mark of this show. So stick around. This show is brought to you by ppgsmoke.com. Go check out their website. And I encourage you to do that soon because there's some fresh new updates and some fresh new things on the website. Ryan Roberts has got all kinds of good stuff on that website, ppgsmoke.com. Show is also brought to you by the paramotorprops.com. Paramotor props at a really good price, lowest prices on the interwebs. And that's the website, paramotorprops.com. Show is also brought to you by the guys from flymyppg.com in Michigan. Mike Cotter and his team will help you to get off the ground. If you want to fly, get some training and you're in the Michigan area, give them a shout out. It's flymyppg.com is the website. So appreciate you making it and making the effort to come on the show, Max. It's been far too long. And I'm so glad that you're here. I've seen you pop in a few different times on different shows and you stay for a few minutes, but I'm glad that we get to have a full show with Max. And how are you, man?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you, yeah.
Yeah, fine. Thanks. Thanks for inviting me for the show. I remember I was the first one. Do you remember?
Right. Yes, sir.
Yeah, it's been a long time. Yeah, we've been around.
I'm excited for you, man. I saw that you got married. I'm excited for your new life. Beautiful wife.
Yeah, thanks.
She's a pilot too, man.
Yes, she's practicing Acro now. She's starting out with stalls and wingovers, and she's really eager to learn new stuff. And it's been exciting this whole time to see her progression, and it's been so fun.
I love it, man. Super cool. I follow both of you guys on Instagram. If you want to follow the show on Instagram, there's a link in the description, and I encourage you to do that. I drop stuff on there every once in a while just to let everybody know what's going on. So I want to talk to you a little bit about your progression and things that are happening in the sport. We're going to talk a little bit about the next level, how we can progress safely. And I want to start talking about, and we're going to just go right into the madness. Talk to us about your progression into the infinite tumble.
Yeah, so as most people know, it's quite difficult to progress here in Brazil, as we struggle a lot with altitude, and my home spot only offers 150 meters, on a good day 300 meters, and everybody knows that in Acro it's almost nothing to practice. So we say in Brazil that we press juice out of rocks. It's a kind of saying.
Yeah.
So we make juice out of rocks, out of nothing. And it's quite frustrating because sometimes you want to progress and it doesn't, and the place doesn't offer that much. So we had to travel a lot. And so as we married, we bought a car. Also, it's new to me. I never had a car before. And then we traveled to a few spots that offer us a lot more altitude, but in exchange, it's much more tiring to go fly because we don't have cable cars or infrastructure that helps us. So we need to go up the mountain by car, and sometimes we make hundreds of kilometers, hundreds of miles just to go fly once or twice. And in Acro, you only can progress when you do many repetitions. And so we invested a lot of time and a lot of money just to progress. And it was a dream of mine and a dream of many Acro pilots. It's normal to have that dream to once be in this sensation. You've been in it before in a tandem, just to tumble around and feel this pressure and this adrenaline. And so we went for it, and I studied a lot. The last 2 years I've been studying about how to do the tumble and how to enter this maneuver, how to stabilize, how to correct the oscillations, and how to exit. And yeah, and then I did a few rounds, and the wing helped me a lot. Also, I changed my wing. Before I was flying a freestyle wing, and now I'm flying a pure acro wing. So it helped a lot, and it it's just a matter of believing. You need to believe that you pull and then you release, and then the wing goes around, and yeah, and it's just an amazing feeling. And uh, it's it's not that technical, it's not that difficult, but it's a very high risk maneuver. So we took our time, and I took my time and been very careful with it. But anyhow, I I managed to put myself in a few situations, as you saw in one of my last videos. And yeah, been
Would
like
you
this.
say that, and we're going to talk about that, we'll save that for the meat of the show. When you,
Yeah.
and obviously everyone has seen, if you haven't subscribed to Max's channel, I would encourage you to go find it. There's a link in the description, and he's got just a great channel, all kinds of stuff, and years of experience on his videos, years of videos on YouTube, and just a really incredible channel. He does a really good job, and they're not just they're very entertaining. They're not just teaching, or it's fun, and the music is good, and you're gonna love it. I'm encouraged, if you're a new person to Max Martini, you're in for a treat. So the road to progression, you started off. Let's go from the beginning. You fly off the hill a few times. Did you see someone else maybe do a sat or something that you were inspired and you said, "Oh man, I want to try that"? Or was it something that you flew many hours and then you said, "I'm getting bored. I'm going to try something dangerous"? Talk about your progression.
Nah, not like that. It's more like uh, as I started flying 2008. Uh, Obviously, you will watch some videos. You start watching videos, and if you want it or not, one of the most popular videos in the paragliding community is acro videos. So I started watching it and started enjoying, especially those from Team Freestyle. Uh, just incredible scenery and uh, just incredible maneuvers. You can't, by watching, you just imagine how it feels. And then, but my progression was more like flying above everything else, because uh, as a youngster it's not that easy to start flying. And then when you get the opportunity, you just want to fly. And then later on, I started creating my own style by doing waga, which is close to the ground, freestyle. And I got really good in ground control, ground handling. And then I started seeing that it's not that difficult to maybe try something in the air if you know what you are doing. And then later on, I got a huge motivation by one of the pioneers in Brazil that was actually one of those who invented the infinity, was one of the first five who did this maneuver. And he told me uh, his method of learning with safety, which is the famous fly yoga from Fabio Fava.
Yeah.
And I started learning the maneuvers, the simple maneuvers like pitch pendulum and wing overs and um stalls and stuff like that. And this was my foundation. From this point on, everything came automatically. And you started studying and understanding the maneuvers and started playing with the wing. It was just you and the wing, and it it flows like water. And when you and then I dedicated myself a lot to this. It was also a very difficult time for me. As you know, my father was ill, and the only thing I did in my life was uh, caring for my father and flying. So I uh, had a lot of time flying. And um, yeah, and then I started doing maneuvers like helicos and sat, and then it got more complex after a while. Yeah, and it's like this. And then um, I started also sharing my passion, and tried teaching others the maneuvers. And I created a method of teaching based on the fly yoga, but also involving uh, my knowledge and my experience that I gathered amongst all those years. And yeah, so that's that's my progression basically.
Would you say, and here's a question from the chat, actually from Yankee Paramotor. He said, can you ask Max if his faith empowers him to fly more aggressively than he would if he didn't have such faith?
No, of course not. Um, my aggressiveness or my ambition to fly comes just because I love the sensation, and I like to master stuff that I really enjoy. I don't know if you can understand what I mean, but if you like doing, if you like skating, for example, and then you really enjoy this feeling, why wouldn't you invest all your time and all your power into it, so that you get good on it? And it's like this also. I always teach this also. uh, it's better to have a bigger vocabulary so you can express yourself better. And it's like this in flying. If you want to enjoy your flight and uh, do more stuff. You need to practice. You need to do a lot of stuff. So that's what motivates me, and not my faith. But um, in the other hand, my faith gives me uh, uh, an understanding of myself and of the world, that um, I can how should I say, I I can respect more what I do and my life, and respect the people around me more by having this mentality which is taught um, about love and about loving others like you love yourself, and all that teaching, all those teachings that we have from Jesus. So I don't know if I'm rambling, talking a lot.
No, you're good, man.
You can see your screen, Robert.
Yeah, I'm sharing his one of his videos that he just dropped.
Oh, I got you.
Yeah. When you decide to move up to the next acro maneuver, how many times have you performed the last maneuver that you've done? Talk a little bit more about the um, how you decide to advance.
Uh, it's kind of complicated to explain, because in one side, uh, at, at, at one side you think you're ready. At the other hand, uh, it's so difficult to explain, because you don't decide you don't decide to do the next step. The next step comes to you as you progress, and it's it's a matter of opportunity and being ready also. So I practice the maneuvers many times in my head, and by watching videos and analyzing videos. You can ask my wife how many times I watched infinity tumbling videos or helico videos. And before I had the opportunity to do the maneuver. But the maneuver before that is a stepstone to the next maneuver. I did 2 years before, uh, when I jumped from the hot air balloon, for example. And from that point on, I every once in a while, as I had the opportunity, I did this maneuver. And one thing is that I I was always eager to learn this maneuver, but the circumstances that that I was in didn't allow me to. Like the last 2 years, I didn't have a proper wing to perform this maneuver, and I didn't have much altitude to practice. Okay, but that was my time, and that was the time I had to endure to fully understand the maneuver. And um, I didn't hurry to learn it and do it wrong, or in 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 any case hurt myself, because as you know, I put my family and all the people I love around me, I put it in the first place. And and then comes the enjoyment of the maneuver. So I don't risk as much as it looks. So it took me a while to practice the maneuver, and I did many times the maneuver in my head, and many times as I had a chance, before I moved on to the next maneuver. So, and also it's like this, one thing I always talk about is fear. So many times we we have so much fear that we don't want to do a maneuver, or we don't want to fly, or don't want to do stuff. And I always have my five pillars of safety in my head, and I always check if my equipment is okay, if I'm okay, if I know the maneuver, if I'm physically okay, if the conditions are fine. uh, I know there is no reason to have fear, and I need to do the maneuver because uh, I uh, I deal with people who have fear, and I always observe it that many times when you don't you don't do it because you have fear, you are like building a wall, and it's like setting a brick and a brick after the other. If you don't do it, and then later on you have a wall before you, and it's much more difficult to overcome your fear later on if you don't do it right away. So that's my mentality about the progression and doing the maneuver. And yeah.
Can you try something? Turn your phone sideways like this. I just want to see
Sideways
what happens. Yeah,
is better.
there we go. Boom, way better.
All right.
So the next thing I wanted to talk to you about was, and this is personal, this has nothing to do with safety or anything like that. The ground spiral, the ground helicopter. You did a video, but it's not, I don't think it's in English. Maybe subtitles. I'm going to screen share for a second.
You're referring to the
interested.
360?
It's the helico landing.
I did it in English. I did.
Oh, is it
two
in
videos
English?
about- Yeah,
I'm going to hit play right now. Share.
but yeah, this one.
Yeah.
I like this video.
So talk to us about that, and maybe just where do you start?
Where to start? I don't know. Maybe by grabbing a small wing and trying to pull it like crazy. I don't know.
A small wing is
Difficult.
easier.
Yeah, it's much easier. And yeah, just by trying, it's so difficult to understand it because there are so many moves in one. You need to have a lot of coordination with your hands and your hips and where you're standing and all that stuff. And maybe I saw a video of Tim Alongi, and he he said we should start by just trying to control your wing upside down, and
Oh, okay.
that's the best way to start, I think, also because you will get this feeling of the brake pressure and your hips, and yeah, and try to play it around and try to turn it around by using your hips and your brakes.
And
Yeah.
how much I watched one of your signature landings is the helico landing or the misty landing.
Yeah.
What do you which one? What do you call it? The same thing.
Yeah, I don't know how to call it.
When this landing, it at first glance looks very dangerous, and I get how you could maybe come in too hot and too high
Yeah.
and perform the maneuver and come crashing down. Uh, how, I guess my question is, how much time did you spend? Because you don't get a whole lot of chances with this one. You're very close to the ground. You don't have a chance to throw reserve if you do it too soon. Um, talk about that maneuver.
You basically try very low and with very low speed, and you will see that the impact is not that strong, and you will see your wing hitting the ground, and then you try to do it a little bit higher and try not to hit the wing on the ground. And uh, you don't see it coming, but later on you make like jumps of 4 meters, 5 meters high, and impact on the ground, and people don't know, but I have a bad knee from doing other stuff, and doing jumps like this and the misty landings don't affect my knee, so the impact is not that strong as it looks, and it's quite fun. I love it.
Yeah,
And
it looks amazing.
yeah, we practice a lot at the dune. We have the blessing of having almost a private dune for us, unfortunately with a wire on top, but it doesn't
Yeah.
bother me.
Oh, that
So
one wire, man. I,
yeah.
I I think I have a little OCD, and I see that wire, man, and I think, oh, I wish that we could do something to get rid of it.
Yeah,
Oh,
and if you
yeah.
would watch on in real life, you would see me barefoot walking on the wire
Oh
with my
no.
wing on top. But I don't film it because I know I would get backlash from
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. Wow. So you
So
touched the wire?
yeah,
Oh
yeah,
my
they're
gosh.
isolated, so no problem.
So it's
As
it's
long as he's
dead?
not completing the circuit, it's all good,
Yeah.
you know.
Wow. That is crazy. I
I've
always
watched
wondered.
Max. I've watched Max for many, many years
Yeah, me
on
too.
YouTube, and it level of skills. You know, I followed one of his advices when he was on the very first show talking about kite, 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 kite. Wear that wing out until you get to the point where you've gotten the kite so worn out. Get another one, fly that one, keep kiting the one, just kite it. And I've done that, and you know, I appreciate that advice because that put me a lot further ahead than I expected.
Yeah, you see, there are many people that come to me and with brand new wings, and they say, "No, I don't want to kite." And I say, "Man, you don't. You need to kite. You need to wear out your wing until you need to buy another one." So, and it's great because the how you call the pleasure you get from it is much greater when you have control. So, no doubt.
Yeah.
I want to just quickly mention two sponsors of the show. One is Nebraska PPG. This is Josh Bowden's school. If you're in the Nebraska area and you're interested in getting some training, you can reach out to him. There's a link in the description. He has a great school. Also, the show is brought to you by the Tri-State Skywalkers. If you're in the Indiana, Kentucky, or Ohio area, you can reach out to Brandon McCloud and you can join his flying club, or you can create your own and reach out to him to get some ideas of how to get that organized. He also recently stepped it up and made uh, a germ fighting chemical for hand sanitizer. And so the website is germgladiator.com. Go check out that website. He's got some really good deals for hand sanitizer. If you have a small business and you can't find it anywhere, you can go wait in line for 3 hours at Costco. You're not going to find it. You can go to your local grocery store. You're not going to find any, but he's making some, and it's actually just the same, pretty much the same price as if you were to buy it off the shelf at your grocery store. Reach out to him if you're interested in that. Germgladiator.com. And the show is also brought to you by iFly Indiana Powered Paragliding. If you're interested in flying paramotors, no better place to get proper training than iflyindiana.com. Kevin and his team will get your feet off the ground. Go check them out. iflyindiana.com. We're going to spin the wheel to give something away. What are we giving away tonight? Oh, you know what? Mark Amundsen. He is putting together a video. And so he actually put, I don't know how to send this to the into the chat, but if maybe one of the moderators can help, he has created a video and it's called "Please Help First Flight Experience," and I believe he's putting a montage together of videos. And so he said, he sent me this message earlier. He said, "Hey pal, could you mention my efforts to put together another compilation video on your show tonight? Just encourage people to participate would be awesome." And so really appreciate that. Those videos are awesome. And we will absolutely send you some videos. He put a kind of an advertisement video for that. Yeah. Also, last week, really appreciate you doing that, Mark. He gave away a bunch of stickers on the raffle, and he said, if you want to give away a sticker as part of the raffle, do that too. Last week, I sent out 10 for free. I made the kids help me out. It's kind of cheesy, but people like free stuff, and it's so true. Thank you, Mark. I really appreciate you hooking everybody up and doing that. I just went to the post office and shipped off 2 t-shirts and a sticker. I had to wait 40 minutes. I was almost late to the show because of that. It is bad. My mom just texted me, "I ordered some germ gladiator." That's awesome.
Okay, we ready to spin this wheel?
What are we going to give away? That's what we need to know.
What are we giving away?
Let's give away. I guess we're going to have to give away a t-shirt.
Mark said free stickers tonight.
Free stickers. So how many times are we spinning the wheel for free stickers?
Yeah.
Mark?
I think that should be just an unlimited amount then.
Start spinning. Allie said they're all unlimited. I knew I brought you on here for a reason tonight.
Yeah, I got no idea. I haven't typed any names in from this point on. No more names. See,
okay,
my hands are free of the wheel. Here we go. We're gonna share screen here.
3. All right, there it is.
We're gonna do 3, huh?
Spinning 3 times.
Okay, 3 times. Okay, this is everybody's name in here. Bow. That's right. Anybody's chatted in that chat, their name is in there. 1 time. Are you ready? We're spinning the wheel. Boom. Oh yeah, and I gotta build suspense. Look at this. That was a mighty. What do you go? Throw, spin, toss. Ooh.
Keith Smith.
Whoa. No.
Ripman riding.
Ripman riding. Congratulations, Ripman. All right. Way to go, Ripman. All right. We're going to spin another again, huh? All right. Here we go. Oh, rah. Boom. I'm liking this. Oh, yeah.
Predator Paramotor said free Predator shirt if you want to give one away.
Nice. That's what I'm talking about.
Oh, Nick Griffith. Congratulations, Nick Griffith. He's won a shirt before, I believe.
This is for a sticker. Okay,
yeah.
One more sticker.
One more sticker. Okay, Nick Griffith won a sticker.
Do a shirt.
That was wait a minute. We're doing another sticker. We're doing one more for a sticker, right?
One more sticker, and then we'll do a shirt.
Here we go. All right. Woo!
By the way, those shirts, Predator shirts, are awesome.
Yeah. Oh,
so close. I almost won.
Christian Michiels.
Miles.
If it's not Kristen, is it Kristen? Is it Kristen or Christian?
Christian.
I probably butchered the name really bad, but congratulations, CM. Woo!
Okay, now we're going to do it for a Predator Paramotor t-shirt.
Okay, Predator Paramotor t-shirt. Ready?
We're going to talk about Max throwing reserve crashing.
All right. Here we go. All right. It's all up to random now. Ooh, who's it going to be? Ooh. Slow days.
Slow days.
Woo. Congratulations, Slow Days.
Yeah, John. Winner, chicken dinner. Okay, so what I need you guys to do is message me. You can go to my website, Paraglidingtalk.com. Go to the contact section. Hey Bob, thanks for the super chat. $2 and $5. So don't give a date with crazy Uncle B. All right. So if you want to collect your sticker, you can actually just reach out to Mark directly. He's going to put his email in the chat, and then you can message him and he will send you your sticker. So Ripman, Nick Griffin, and Christian Miles, congratulations. John Slowdays, you also are a winner chicken dinner. Message me, go to the website, send me a message. I think I already have your details. I'll forward those on to Predator Paramotor. Thanks, Predator Paramotor. Appreciate you giving away a shirt on the show. Super awesome. Hey, Nick Griffith, thanks, man. $20 super chat. You rock, man.
He just paid for that shipping that you waited 40 minutes for.
Thank you. Yeah, seriously. After yeah, that was brutal, man. 2 people were working. There was a line out the door. 2 people working. But the problem wasn't the line, because I got in there when the line was short. As soon as I got in, there was 2 people in front of me that took 30 minutes, and they clogged up both lanes for 30 minutes. I'm like, oh, people were getting mad, man. But I was committed. I don't go to the post office very often. Max Martini, you had a couple different situations. You've shared your videos and you've been very transparent. One of the things I really like about you is you're very humble, and you will show and share your experiences so that others can learn from those. And I do the same thing. And a lot of people that watch the show do the same thing. And I encourage people, if you make a mistake, that is not a bad thing. It is something you're learning, and you should always be learning. Mom gave $20 to the super chat. Thank you, Mom. Love you so much. When we have mistakes, one of the guys locally here threw a reserve, and I walked up to him with the camera after it happened, and he goes, no camera. I don't want anybody to know about this. And I'm like, whoa, man, come on. Like, we can learn from this. This is a good thing. This is awesome. And he agrees with me. And he said the same thing. He said, I'm glad that I got this out of the way. He had never had to throw his reserve in just natural circumstances. And so I personally believe that throwing a reserve after doing some acro is a little bit different than going on a cross country and hitting some turbulence and losing your wing. Let's talk about what happened with your recent event, and I want to pick your brain a little bit about that.
Yeah, so I always preach to my students, and I always preach to everybody around me. You need to check your equipment. Your equipment must be in good state. You must check all those things, and I was guilty of not taking it seriously myself. And so we've been traveling in Austria. My wife did a German course, so that we one day maybe can live there. So we've been around there for a while, and I've been to U-turn before and bought myself new equipment, a new harness and stuff, and so everything seemed fine. But one detail, my brake line was worn out, and it has been like this a while now, and I didn't take it seriously because as I've flown my other wing before, and I had the same problem. The sheet was worn out also, so it was only on the main line, and I never had a problem with that. And for me, it seemed like I wouldn't have a problem this time, but not in this case. I had a big problem. It was one of those days that you go out of the door and you're not very okay with your wife, and you're not clear on your head, and the conditions are not fine to fly. A local said to me, in those conditions, nobody would fly. And for me, it seemed fine because I'm not local, and it looked fine to me. So, and the condition was not the problem. The problem was me flying with a worn out brake and doing high G maneuver. And it was simply negligent from my part, and I assumed this, and I learned from this mistake, and I now take it even more seriously. And um, it was like this. You can watch the video. I pulled a high G maneuver, a joker to the left, and as the wing went beneath the horizon, my line broke, and yeah, and when I saw I was over the wing and with only one brake line in my hand, yeah, and yeah, from this point on, it was a hell ride, and yeah, it went down really quick. So, and I did everything. I it, I did everything that went through my head in this moment. But looking back at it, I saw that maybe I should have done a few things different, and that's why I did this video analyzing and explaining. And yeah, so this 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 is, Robert, I tell you something. This is the proof that God exists,
Yeah.
because by chance it could have gone so wrong,
Right.
and I don't know, I can't explain, but somehow it stopped the auto rotation, and I came down in a sharp angle and didn't hurt myself, even no little scratch. I did have no little scratch on me. So I only can thank God for this opportunity, and for giving me the opportunity to survive this event, and to be able to share this also. And yeah, it could have gone south really quick. And yeah,
And
now I take it easy.
when you landed
Yeah,
there, what was that? Wasn't that where there was a snowdrift as well, where there was like a bigger impact of snow for
yeah,
more squish?
there was almost no snow. It was like uh, how is it called? It was melting also, and yeah, it was more like the angle I came down was, it was down the slope, and I came really sharp down, so not very perpendicular. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Quick question. What's the, I noticed on your brake lines, you have a little blue cord between your brake line and your riser. What's that all about?
That's called free brakes, and it's basically an elastic that we use to hold the brake in place, because we as acro pilots and some cross-country pilots also use this technique or this method to have a wider control range, and to be able to control more the tips or more the inside of the wing, to perform stalled maneuvers more precise, and to keep the tip open, and also to maintain the energy in the maneuver.
How did it feel throwing the reserve out? Was it did it feel complicated?
Uh, well, to be honest, that's my second time I throw my reserve, and the first time was 1 month before, and So I had a little bit of experience. uh, and I also talked with a friend, Alois Rettenbacher from Austria. He did also a video about reserves and the different kinds of reserves and techniques to throw them and all that stuff. And to come back to your question, uh, it's easy to throw the reserve, but you must follow a sequence of steps to be successful and to not waste your chance. And um, to go through those steps is like this. First, you need to stop any kind of rotation. If it's an auto rotation in a satellite configuration or in a helical configuration, like it was in my case, you need to stop the auto rotation first. You need to stall the wing and hold it with both hands, with one hand, both brakes, and to maintain the wing stalled and falling and in a controlled manner. And then you need to find your reserve handle, uh, and it's not that easy as it looks. And I practice it. I practiced it many times. Even flying, I sometimes uh, release my brake and go to my reserve handle just to test and to build muscle memory to feel where it is. But in the case of adrenaline and in a real situation, you will see that it's not that easy. And if you watch carefully in my video, you will see that my first touch was on my hip, and it's one of those uh, things that harness manufacturers should take into consideration. And I think it's really important to build the handle not at the knee where it usually is, or on your leg. It should be at the hips, because instinctively the first thing you will do is to grab your hip, searching for your reserve handle. And then the next step is to uh, pull it out and in one move throw it as far as you can uh, into um, into a space where the wing is not trying to catch the reserve. So, and then you will have a successful reserve throw. And I also, on my first reserve throw, I need to share this with you guys. I know I'm talking much, but I need to share this, and it's really important. Uh, Many people do SIV courses and test the reserve throw in a controlled environment and all that stuff. But in the real situation, it's uh, much more instinctively than it is rationally. And you think you will have a perfect throw, and you think you will later on pull in your wing to reduce pendulum and reduce sink. But in reality, it's really difficult. And most of the cases, when you throw your reserve, you're not that high anymore, because uh, a pilot will try to solve the problem first and then go to the second solution, which is to throw the reserve. So in real life, it's much more complicated and much more instinctively than it is like in a controlled environment. And yeah, I try to, not in this case, because the wing was kind of flying still, but on my first reserve throw, I tried to pull in my wing, and it was impossible. So I tried hard, and it is impossible. So don't even bother. Just throw your reserve and try to I don't know.
I noticed that when you
Um,
threw it out, it went down. When you
Yeah.
saw that happen, what went through your mind?
oh shit. So I have thrown it, and my sink was not high enough to catch wind inside the reserve. And also another technique that I talked about in my video was that my reserve was too neatly packed and too perfectly packed, and it took more time to inflate the reserve. So I decided to pull on the bridle, and yeah, I don't know if it was the right decision to make or a bad decision. So it went
This
right into my lines, and I don't know.
David Hadfield just walked in to the studio.
Sorry, gentlemen. I'm just here to hijack a new wing.
We picked up his new wing today, or I did, from Oceanside.
Congrats.
Yeah, he got a Mantra 7. It's time for the mantra.
Extreme.
Yes. Do you see who I have on? You know Max Martini?
I know the name.
You can hear if you want.
I
Max
do.
is
Congrats on your new wing.
Thanks, brother.
this is like he's one of the masters of Acro.
Acro, yeah. No,
Yeah.
I know
No, don't talk like that.
him. Well, sorry to interrupt you guys' show. I'm gonna skedaddle. Where'd you hide it?
Oh, it's right there in the garage on the to the right of my wing.
Yeah, but he hasn't
It's in a
said
blue
it
bag.
out yet.
Close on back?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Thank you. Enjoy the show, guys.
See you, buddy.
Yes, tomorrow, flying.
All right.
Where do you pick that up in Oceanside?
Don't tell me what to do. Fly if I want to fly.
Did you just go in your bathroom?
I have a door that if you go to the right, you go to Sean's room, and then if you go to the left, you go to the garage.
Yeah. Robert slides right through that door. The
Yep.
little slidey right up
To
there.
the slot.
It's through the
You've
slot
only
right there.
disappeared like once tonight. Have you been fed yet?
No,
I know he's looking skinny, but we had to
Um,
make sure that
I'm hungry.
make sure he was going to spin the wheel before we feed him. You never feed the worker before the work.
I even spun the wheel 3 times and longer too. Like it took a lot more effort. It was very hard to push that button, but I did it.
Jim CR120 has contributed $15 to the super chat, and he said that he paid for
15 questions.
he paid for the cuss word.
Okay.
It's $10 per cuss word. You know what's so funny? In most countries, that's not a bad word. And
Yeah. Everybody does it.
Yeah. In
Sorry, I had
Malaysia.
to say it.
Oh, it's so funny. My
What's the word? What's the word?
I can't say it's a bad word.
It's the excrement word.
Yeah. That's right. We had a situation in our where I came walking into the office of what's that?
I said, did you like that? I told him to come in and make a special appearance.
I'm glad he did. That's awesome.
Yeah. I just shut the garage.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, so my pastor, when he's around the disciples in Malaysia, because it's not a bad word in Malaysia, he'll say it.
Sheetrock.
Yeah, and it's so funny because he was talking to some guys from Malaysia when we had our conference, and I heard Pastor say it, and I was like, "Whoa, Pastor cussed." So funny. Yes. I want to take some questions from the chat. Some of these guys that are watching the show, by the way, there's a whole bunch of people watching. We have 90 people watching live.
Oh
And,
yeah.
So thank you, everybody. By the way, you guys are awesome. I really appreciate everybody that is a part of the show every week. You make my day, and really appreciate the show and everything that's been involved. All the moderators, everybody that's involved. You guys are awesome, and I'm always humbled every week when we do what we do. And I I'm grateful. By the way, the show is brought to you by Lone Star Paramotor. If you're in Texas, you can get some really good training. Ron Turan and his team will take care of you. Also, the show is brought to you by Torrey Pines Glider Port, the local flying site. If you want to get some really good training, the website is flytorrey.com with 2 R's. So that's FLYTORREY.com. Again, all the links for these are in the description. And this show is also brought to you by Resurgence PPG. If you're interested in supporting our men and women of uniform, you can make a tax-deductible donation to resurgencepppg.com. And by donating, you're sponsoring those who have put their lives on the line for your freedom. You can reach out to Todd Scandrett at resurgencepppg.com if you have any questions. Yeah. Let's talk. Great question, Yankee. Came in clutch with a good question. He said, Max, have you ever grayed or blacked out simply from pulling G's?
No.
Okay.
Simply no. Because if you pull G's, you practice before and you pull it as you feel comfortable. So
looks like there's a couple other questions in here.
So basically, Max is telling us, growing up as a kid, he was like the master of the spinny wheel.
no.
Spinny wheel.
But I deal a lot with nausea. I don't know.
Oh, really? You get air sick?
Yeah, from
No
spinning.
kidding.
Especially when I don't have reference. When the sky is blue, I start spinning and I look up and only see my wing, and sometimes I get nausea. And sat goes me nausea also.
What?
So would that be like vertigo?
Nausea? The SAT gives you nausea?
Yeah.
Yes. Same with me, man. Jeez. We did it on that tandem, and the SAT was what pushed me over the edge because you're going backwards.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like that. I do want to try a SAT though. I'm gonna do it one day.
It's easy.
That's what everyone says, but I don't know. I'm careful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Next question.
The next question was from Christian Miles. He said, do you feel like someone was watching over you when you landed safely because that landing was 1 in a million?
Yeah, for sure.
And you answered that
No
question.
doubt.
Another question from Jim CR120. He said, for Max, which reserve do you use? And are you satisfied with its performance? What reserve does your wife fly with?
Normally we use normal round ones, and now I'm using a square reserve. And please, I recommend from my heart, watch the reserve video from Alois. I will post it on Instagram and Facebook, and maybe I'll share with you the link. And he will talk about all the pros and cons from every type of reserve. And it's really interesting and will open your mind about reserve. So
who is it?
Alois Rettenbacher. He flies in Austria. He's from Bischling, and he does many great videos on YouTube also with follow cams and cross country. And he did many videos for the team freestyle. And yeah, I only recommend it. The channel name is Easy Glider Pool.
Yeah, if somebody can pull that up, and we'll drop that link in the chat before we go offline. That's amazing. Yeah, I want to check that out. Is it in English?
Yes.
Nice. What do we have? Do we have some other questions for him before we let him go? Oh, favorite site to fly. What's your favorite site to fly?
I don't know. There are so many, but the place I fell in love was Lago di Garda. It's simply beautiful.
And where's that at?
It's in Italy. The flying site is Monte Baldo. It's like a huge mountain with
Above the
more than
lake, right?
yeah,
And that's where
with
Aviator does their training too, or trips. Beautiful.
yeah. So you have a huge grassy slope to play, and then you just go straight over the lake and pull your maneuvers. And with at the time I was there, it was like 25 euros for the whole day, and it was simply fun.
Hey, Max, speaking of maneuvers, Kevin Can Fly wants to know what's your favorite maneuver.
I think Joker is one of my favorite maneuvers because it it's a combination of many maneuvers, and also I really love the Misty Flip, and yeah, and yeah. Actually, my favorite maneuver. Let's break it down. My favorite maneuver is the helico. So
Nice. So we're going to go to the after show. Max, thank you so much for coming on again. I really appreciate you. And you were a huge, by the way, I don't know if you know this, but you were a huge inspiration to even make this show possible. So thank you for being the first person to ever come on. And this is episode 121. Is that right?
wow.
121 episodes. Who knows how much influence this little show will have on the flying community, and how many people will fly safer because of things they've learned on here, and how many I know numbers of people who have become friends because of the show. So thank you so much, and thanks again for all the people who have given in the super chat, all the Patreon supporters, all the guys that support the show on PayPal. Thank you so much. Really appreciate everybody's investment, and fly safe, guys. We're going to go to the after show. If you want to join the after show, send me a message. If you're one of the Patreon supporters, you can come to the after show. Or if you make a super chat, you can join the after show. And so thank you so much for all the involvement, everybody. We're going to go to the after show. And if I don't see you on the air, see you in there. Thanks for watching, guys.